you're looking for a brand new car, then the Dacia Sandero hatchback is as cheap as it gets in the UK, starting at less than £6,000. And as you can see, it's not a tiny city car either. Size-wise, the Sandero rivals the likes of the Ford Fiesta and Vauxhall Corsa, yet its pricing is less than the smaller Ka Plus and Viva from those brands. Sounds intriguing, doesn't it? So, how does Dacia manage to do it so cheaply? Well, under the skin it shares its platform and mechanical components with the Renault Clio, but an earlier generation of model, and it's built in Romania, with cheaper labor costs than many other EU countries. Petrol and diesel Sandero engines. There's a limited range of 3 engines for the Dacia Sandero, a pair of petrols and a diesel. With 90 horsepower, the 1.5-litre DC diesel offers impressive frugality, but only if you cover a high number of miles annually, something most small car customers don't tend to do. More suitable will be one of the 3-cylinder petrol engines, both of which should still manage 45 miles per gallon in the real world. There's a non-turbo 1.0-litre motor with 75 horsepower that replaced an earlier 1.2-litre unit with the same power in 2016, or, more appealingly, a 0.9-litre turbocharged engine also with 90 horsepower. Clearly these aren't outputs that will sate enthusiastic drivers who like to press on, but they enable the Sandero to make adequate progress, even if overtaking maneuvers require a bit more forward planning. Function over form at 320 litres with the seats in place. The Dacia Sandero's boot is one of the largest in the small hatchback sector, and all models get a 60-40 split rear bench as standard, although it's worth noting that it doesn't fold flat. More frustratingly, for a car where you'd expect practicality would be centered upon, there's no external way of opening the tailgate save for using the key. At least there's a release lever down at the side of the driver's seat. The remainder of the cabin really is no frills. Even high-spec Sanderos still feel on the cheap side with masses of hard, hollow-sounding plastic. Nevertheless, it feels pleasingly robust in its construction, with no sense that anything flimsy will fall off in your hand. Paucity of entry-level Sandero equipment. Just like the larger Dacia Duster SUV, there are 3 trim levels in the Sandero range: Access, Ambience and the top-of-the-range Laureate. Although it's the entry-level Access model with the temptingly low sticker price, in reality you are buying a very basic car, without electric windows, stereo equipment or air conditioning. It's the middle-ranking Ambience model that hits the sweetest spot in the Sandero range, as it includes a number of features buyers have come to expect as givens these days, including an easy-to-use touchscreen for the multimedia system. Most Sandero buyers, somewhat surprisingly, opt for the range-topping Laureate specification, but it's not one we would recommend given that at the top end of the range you're into the price territory of more conventional, and polished, superminis. The verdict: let's be clear, the Dacia Sandero hatchback isn't a bad car, it just feels off the pace compared with much newer and more refined rivals, and that's fine providing you buy one from the cheaper echelons of the range. Sure, a multimedia system and aircon aren't necessities, but they do make budget new car motoring easier to embrace. But the trinkets fitted to higher spec models negates the Sandero's value for money appeal. Does it make sense as a used buy against used versions of more accomplished alternatives? Read on to find out in our full Dacia Sandero hatchback review. Limited range of engine choices. Diesel offers best economy, turbo petrol and appealing all-rounder chances. Or if you're considering a Dacia Sandero, then performance isn't high on your priority list, which is just as well, as none of the engines even muster 100 horsepower. Petrol engine selection. Entry-level engine at launch was a non-turbocharged 75 horsepower 1.2-litre 16 volts, which completed the 0 to 62 miles per hour sprint in a leisurely 14.5 seconds. Its top speed was an equally unremarkable 97 miles per hour at the end of 2016. This was replaced by a 3-cylinder, 1.0-litre 75 power plant, again without a turbo, also producing 75 horsepower. Performance was marginally improved. Top speed rose to 98 miles per hour, while 0.3 of a second were shaved off the 0 to 62 miles per hour time. It has an engaging, growly soundtrack, but it requires effort to make swift progress, meaning overtaking maneuvers have to be considered carefully. More appealing thanks to a little extra grunt is that it's 90, a turbocharged version of the 1.2-litre unit. As its title suggests, it has 90 horsepower on tap, meaning a top speed of 109 miles per hour and a 0 to 62 miles per hour time of 11.1 seconds. Don't assume that because it's turbocharged that it's particularly zippy. You'll be working the gearbox hard to maximize its performance. Single diesel offering the sole diesel engine in the range's 1.5-litre DC90 motor, again with 90 horsepower. It will get to 62 miles per hour in 11.8 seconds and has an achievable top speed of 107 miles per hour. It feels moderately punchy, and more brisk from slower speeds than its petrol, but diesels in small cars rarely make sense as you have to cover Starship mileages to recover the initial price premium in fuel-saving terms. Plus, on shorter, urban-centric journeys, diesel engines aren't especially efficient anyway. It's a small hatch, so it's nimble around tighter bends, but there's little enjoyment to be derived from it nevertheless. It's a comfy supermini. Somehow Dacia has managed to dial out a lot of the inherent fun that is normally part and parcel of a small car package, making the Sandero rather lackluster to drive. In fairness, the Romanian brand isn't on the hunt for drivers looking for an engaging steer, quite the opposite. In fact, as many Dacia buyers have little to no interest in cars as anything other than transportation machines. While it's nowhere near as sharp and nimble as a Ford Fiesta, it doesn't disgrace itself, with body roll kept reasonably in check, although there's little by way of communication about what the front wheels are up to through the steering. It's also heavier to turn than most contemporary superminis, making urban driving a bit of a chore. Still, what's left is comfy, with decently managed damping to prevent it from rocking to and fro over undulating surfaces. It doesn't particularly excel in this field. The Citroën C3 remains the comfort king, but it's not especially far removed. Sandero's interior feels like a step back in time. Nevertheless, it's all well assembled. In a pity it looks so drab, though if you're a fan of acres of grey, hard plastics finished in a multitude of textures, then the Dacia Sandero is the small hatchback you've been yearning for. Also, it's probably about time you found out what class-leading superminis are like inside. If you owned a Renault from the mid-2000s, then the likelihood is that you'll feel at home in the Sandero, as much of the switchgear has been repurposed from Clios and Megans of yore. That includes the useful stereo controls on the steering column, as well as the perplexing decision to have the cruise control switches in 3 separate locations. The central dashboard plinth, with its circular air vents and multimedia screen, or a cubby if you go for an access version, manages to resemble the face of some form of robotic 1970s Doctor Who villain. Everything's easy to use, it all just lacks any real sort of tactile or visual appeal, which is a shame. Compliant ride and chunky tires, plenty of interior space. Too pity the seats are so shapeless considering how little the Dacia Sandero costs, and the money saving that has been made to get it to make it so inexpensively. Comfort levels are surprisingly good. Sure, others in the segment are better. We're looking at you in particular, Citroën C3, but given how much room there is in the Sandero too, it's an appealing package from a comfy perspective. The seats are fine on journeys of a moderate length, but the front pair in particular could do with more side bolstering if you're intending to regularly undertake longer drives. They feel suitably thick of cushion, though, and while the rear bench is similarly flat, there's decent room in the Dacia for 4 6-footers. Aircon, standard on ambience models upwards, makes the interior much more bearable on hot days, as well as demisting the windows more effectively when winter approaches. Entry-level specification is very basic, misses out on new arrivals kit. Few options to choose between since launch, barring a sprinkling of special editions. The Sandero range has remained true to its trio of trim levels: Access, Ambience and Laureate. Standard Dacia Sandero hatchback equipment. Access entry point to the whole Dacia range, let alone the Sandero lineup. Access represents basic transportation compared with its contemporaries: 15-inch steel wheels, black bumpers, door handles and mirror housings, LED day running lights, 60 hours 40 minutes split rear seat, pre-wiring for stereo equipment. Ambience rather easier to live with, is the next rung up the Sandero hierarchy. Full body color bumpers, gloss black and satin chrome detailing, 3 height adjustable rear seat head restraints, central locking stop, start system, air conditioning, a boot light, electric front windows, 4-speaker audio system with Bluetooth connectivity. Laureate topping the range, but not being an especially sensible choice. The flagship Sandero boasts body-colored door handles and mirror housings, trip computer, cruise control, speed limiter, rear parking sensors, front fog lights, electric door mirrors, height adjustable driver's seat, seatbelt and steering wheel, media nav, Evolution multimedia system with sat-nav, optional Dacia Sandero hatchback extras options, and exactly plentiful in the Sandero range. Dacia instead prefers you to progress to the next trim level up, hence why so many top spec Laureates are out there. Laureate versions can be specified with a comfort pack comprising of electric rear windows and a soft-feel steering wheel, as can leather, whispers, and vinyl, upholstery, don't bother, and a front armrest, again, leave alone, it's set too low for most drivers. A pair of different alloy wheel designs in 15 and 16-inch diameters can also spruce up your Laureate's exterior, and a reversing camera can supplement the parking sensors, while metallic paint is also optional on the ambience, but not base-level access. 4-star rating from Euro NCAP misses out on modern safety kit. Pair of ISOFIX points on rear bench. Back in 2013 when the Dacia Sandero was crash tested by the experts at Euro NCAP, its 4-star safety rating was impressive for a budget car. It should have been, too, given parent company Renault's expertise in this field. Sadly, the brand hasn't kept up to the same degree as much of the competition, so preventative systems such as autonomous emergency braking, lane keeping aids and blind spot monitoring. Still, the usual suspects of ABS and electronic stability control are present and correct. Transporting young children in your Sandero? Then the pair of ISOFIX child seat mounting points on the outer rear seats will prove useful. Roomy cabin for a supermini. Oddments storage is disappointing. Boot is large, though, 60-40 split standard thanks to its generous external dimensions. The Dacia Sandero is one of the most spacious superminis on sale. 4 adults can easily be accommodated, with a 5th slotting in providing the journey's not too long. Somewhat disappointingly, storage for odds and ends is poor, with only the glove box providing any sort of lidded cover. Anything else you store in one of the many cubbies will be exposed to prying eyes. Light and compact, it's easy to place and park the Dacia Sandero, even models that do without sensors in the rear bumper or the optional reversing camera. Perhaps this is where those unpainted bumpers of the base spec models really come into their own. In practicality terms, the Sandero really comes into its own, not least because it has one of the largest boot volumes in its class and is something of a rarity in that 60-40 split rear seats are standard. They don't lie completely flat when you fold them over, but they're a useful thing to have without paying extra all the same. The parcel shelf feels a bit flimsy, but then material quality is hardly a watchword elsewhere in the cabin either. Nevertheless, it feels as robust in the boot as the Sandero does elsewhere. Just remember that you can't open the tailgate from outside the car without the key, although there is a release lever down by the side of the driver's seat.